And welcome to another edition of Odyssey Journals. I'm Trip Mitchell, and as always, joined by Randall Carlisle. Randall, good to see you.
But I have to tell you, this is my last one. I'm upset.
Why?
Remember, I said last recording that I was going to wear a tux to show you up. Wardrobe guy doesn't show up. Makeup guy doesn't show up. What kind of outfit are we running here? I mean, so I'm done.
I was wearing a UNLV golf shirt, and I went home and changed to try to be appropriate for Randall.
Okay.
Because this is the first time Randall's ever been on the street without a tie. Because all anchormen wake up in the morning, they put a tie on, a jacket, and
right.
You're very relaxed today.
I'm except I wanted that tux. So otherwise, if I don't get that tux, I'm gone.
Okay.
No.
That's in his
It's a contract demand for a show we're doing for free. How does that work?
You know what's funny is I had a guy that I worked for running a TV station down in Las Vegas who owes me many thousands of dollars.
Wow.
And I ended up with his tux. And I brought it home and I told my fiance that I'm going to call him to return it. And she said, "You will do no such thing.
Right.
He owes you money and
Right.
he's your
I'm
size."
keeping this still.
So I will bring that in next taping.
Oh, okay.
We can both be in
Okay,
tuxes.
then I'll stay on the free job.
Okay, that's perfect. You're watching this show. Why? Well, the reason is that our show is about recovery, and it's a great way to learn a little bit about addiction and how to see that light at the end of the tunnel. Randall, after retiring from the news business, has been with Odyssey House, and you say it's the greatest job ever.
It's our slogan is "We are recovery," and it's like at a TV station the slogan is "We want money." So I mean,
I don't think that's their exact slogan.
well, no, but I mean that's basically the motivation, and not that. And I'm not knocking TV because it has its place in society, and TV news definitely does. But it's just so much a more freeing feeling and a more positive feeling to work for a nonprofit that is working on recovery. And so it is the best job I've ever had.
So what we do on the show is we'll introduce you to people in recovery, helping recovery, people working that industry, and we'll have a phone number up. If you've got a question, if you've got someone that you love who has an addiction problem, call the folks at Odyssey House. They will not necessarily push you any one way or another,
No.
but they'll give you information. It's a resource to give you people to call. And there are so many people, and the great thing about doing this show and learning this from you, Randall, is that there are thousands of people in this area in Utah that are helping people with recovery, and tens of thousands of people that are in recovery.
Exactly.
It's
and
a
people
secret.
don't know about them.
No, if you're in the predominant faith, you might not even know that some of your fellow churchgoers on Sunday have an addiction problem. We met a couple weeks ago a gentleman who just was released from being an LDS bishop, and he's in recovery,
Right.
and that shocked me.
And I suppose it's not something you hear in church every Sunday where people get up and bear testimony and say, I'm a recovering addict or I'm a recovering alcoholic. It's not something you probably hear very frequently on Sundays. So anyway, I have a riddle for you.
Yes.
Okay, what'd you say this is?
Caramel.
Caramel. What do caramel and a bakery, I'll hold this up so the camera can see it, a Flourish Bakery, have to do with recovery?
I do not know. However, I tried one of these about 2 minutes ago, and Randall said, before we start, maybe the goo that's hanging down this far.
Have a little
Probably,
Yeah,
of that.
yeah, that's a problem sometimes.
I had a stalactite going.
Freddie Jackson, I'd like to introduce him to you, to our viewing audience and our listening audience, because we're on Spotify and iTunes now. He works at Flourish Bakery, and maybe you can tell us what what this has to do with recovery.
Okay. Well, Flourish Bakery is a recovery-based bakery. We work within the community with interns. We have a paid internship, and so you come into our bakery. Interns come into our bakery. They stay for a 12-month program. Then after the 12 months, they're invited to go to an externship into the community. They're returned into the community. We have 2 graduates right now. One was at Liberty Heights Fresh, and the other one was at Deer Valley. And they went through our program. They went through the 12-month program.
Whoa. Deer Valley?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know the woman in their program who did that. And
Yes.
I mean, you think of the pastries you see at Deer Valley, and she learned everything she knows from
Yes,
Flourish Bakery.
Flourish Bakery. Right now. I am halfway through the program. So at the end of October, I'll be looking to do an externship as well. And so I'm working on ways to do. I don't know where I'm going to do my externship. At this moment, it might be Deer Valley, it might be somewhere else, but yeah. So that's what I'm looking for right now.
If you get offered an externship at 7-Eleven, don't take it.
No,
say, I'll
Deer
take
Deer
Deer
Valley
Valley.
will be a little better for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So, bakers, you guys do God's work, and at home, I am subjected to watching every bakery. The British baking shows is her favorite, and there are 3 or 4 on the Food Network. That's a lot of work.
Baking is a lot of work. Baking is like cooking is a lot of work. But cooking is more of how to get a feel for it. Once you get a feel for it, then you can kind of duplicate it. But with baking, it has to be exact. It's science. It has to be if you are off by a couple of ounces, your whole recipe is toast. So it's just like recovery. That's how we view baking and making recipes as recovery, because you have to have your right balance. And if you don't have a right balance, then it'll come out in different ways. It'll come out in different ways if you don't have a correct balance. And so that's what we do. That's how we view our time in the kitchen and how we're building recipes. Is think of it as your recovery. And that's
Well,
how
what's interesting is, and when you look at it, baking takes, you do all the hard work and then you wait.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a little bit another analogous situation to recovery.
Well, you have to have faith. Once you have to know that everything is correct, that what you're doing is correct, that you're making the next right step, that every step that you're taking is the right step to take. And so you put it all together, and you have to sort of give it over to God, and kind of say, okay, I'm having faith that it's going to work. What I put together, it's going to work, and as it bakes, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you have to go back.
Flat,
yeah. Sometimes
that could be a relapse.
Exactly.
I guess, or something.
But sometimes it doesn't. But with the bakery, it's okay, because what we do is that we go back and say, why did that happen? What happened here? Why did your bread not rise? Why did it fall, or why did it spill over? So we go back and we analyze it, and we figure out what happened. Did we overmix it? I was having problems with overmixing stuff. I was too much in my head and mixing stuff more than what I should. And so it was creating a problem for me, in my finished product. So I had to go back and analyze that and check in with myself and say, why is this not working the way that I wanted to do? So I asked questions, and then I did some reading, and then I said, and I put it all together and said, okay, this is the reason why. And so since I did that check-in, things have been turning out the way they're supposed to.
So compare that to you dealing with addiction.
Well, for me, with addiction is I am right now an Odyssey Voyager. I'm in the outpatient program. I will be graduating here soon. With me in my recovery, at the beginning, I went to First Step first before I went to Odyssey. And while I was at First Step, I lied. I was not transparent. I was not honest with anyone about anything. I still held on to secrets. I still held on to my old friends. I still held on to all the stuff that kept me in my addiction. And then ultimately that got me kicked out. Their recommendation was Odyssey, and I said, "Oh my God, here we go."
The tough program.
But what is the perception of Odyssey versus First Step?
Well, the thing is that First Step is a program. It's a great program. Yeah. I'm not going to say that it isn't. It's a great program. But I was not in my life. I was not at that point to accept First Step. I was not at the point where I can be a part of that program and be honest in that program because I was still holding on to my old life and still holding on to my old addictions. Once I got to a place, and through the help of Odyssey, people in Odyssey, once I got to a place that I was okay with being uncomfortable, okay with doing the hard work, okay with accepting feedback, okay with just being in a place where I can say I taking accountability that I did something wrong, or holding someone else accountable. I had never done that before. That stuff was foreign to me. All that stuff I learned at Odyssey.
Do you mind telling us what your addiction was?
My addiction was crack cocaine. I am from New York originally. I came here. I went to the University of Utah. I went through the actors training program. I ended up leaving the program due to I had a kid, but also I was in my addiction at that point. And during that time, my addiction was a lot different than what it became later. My addiction was that I would use on the weekends, or I would binge use. I would use like once every 3 to 6 months, but I was using it as a way to escape what was going on in my life. I was using it to say, "Oh, my life is so overwhelming. I never held any boundaries. I never held myself responsible for anything." So once everything got overwhelmed, or people started asking things of me, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta run," and so I would run to the drugs every time. I would run out and be out, on the streets. Ultimately, I ended up on the block.
For those of you who don't know, that's down on Rio Grande.
That was the shelter. Ultimately, I ended up on the shelter. So now I went from being at the University of Utah. I was in what was called the actors training program. I did theater at the Pioneer Theater Company. I did theater at Salt Lake Acting Company. I did all the big playhouses. I was doing a lot of stuff acting wise, and I ended up on the block.
Wow.
Yeah, and so me being on the block, it was like I ended up homeless, drug addicted, and with no one in my family looking for me or even cared. I mean, I'm assuming they cared, but there was pretty much nothing they really could do for me, And I kind of look at that now. Like, if my family had come to me while I was actively, in my addiction, would I have gone with them or changed my life? I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, I was going to guess that too.
Yeah.
If they would have gone walking down Rio Grande and said, "Hey, Freddie, come on home. Stop doing those drugs."
I probably wouldn't have. I mean, when I was actively in my addiction, or maybe I would have gone for like a day, a week, or a month, but I would have ended up back in that same place because I was not ready to change.
Freddie, what for people who are watching or listening on the podcast who have never tried drugs or alcohol, this seems like, more than likely at least, seems like such a foreign concept. What is the draw? What is the reason when you're on the block, homeless, that you wouldn't want to leave?
Well, the thing is for me with drugs, it became a situation where I wanted to escape. I was not happy with my life. I was not happy the way that my life was coming, working its way out. I was once I left the University of Utah, I went to go work for a company. I went to work in corporate America. I went to work at Overstock.com. I ended up being an account manager there. I ended up leaving there and going work for another company developing their quality control department. So I had jobs, I had opportunities, I had stuff, but I was not happy. I was not happy in my life. People around me were not they were holding me accountable, but they were allowing me to make excuses for my life or make excuses for why I was not getting any better. And so I was getting worse, But even though I had opportunities, I did work in these places, but it was like, for me, the draw was, it was that I was not happy there, so I wanted to escape. And so with me escaping,
So you're probably pretty darn good at interviewing, I would imagine.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but now, but the thing is that, you know, me interviewing, and this is where Flourish comes in, is that my life before drug addiction was that I could get a job anywhere. I can live anywhere. My life after addiction is that I can't get a job anywhere because I do have felonies. I do have, and so I can't get a job, and I can't get a housing or apartment. So I had to find other ways in order to get fulfillment, and that's where Flourish Bakery came in, where they allowed me an opportunity to say, hey, we want to help you get your life back together. We want to help you become employable. We want to help you get back on that track. And I'm grateful that they allowed me to do that because, you ask what made drugs such a draw that I was willing to give up everything, and it was because that I was so broken that there was nothing that was going to put me together. But I thought drugs made the world tolerable. I thought it made it easier for me to be okay in my skin and to be okay in the world through drugs. And I realized that it wasn't tolerable. I tell you the truth, I mean, when I was down at Rio Grande, I had thought that I would never leave that place. I had thought that I would
be there forever.
I thought I would be there forever.
Till you died.
Something happened, so I died. Yeah,
Which is not unheard of down in that area.
Yeah. I had no hope. I had no hope of looking past that. And this is coming from a person that had a whole bunch of hope and had a life, but I was down there and I was stuck, and I felt that there was no out for me. I felt that this was a place that I probably end up for the rest of my life.
What a dismal outlook.
It was.
Think about that.
It was.
Because that is the most the block, as it were.
Yeah,
Pretty tough spot.
Yeah, I remember one of the worst days I ever had in my life. The worst day ever was it was Christmas, and I woke up that day and
in the road home.
I woke up on the street, on the side of the street. I didn't really sleep in the road home. The road home was worse than being out in the street, because out in the street you have people around you that will kind of look out for you. But when you're in the road home, you're kind of on your own. So people kind of like stole your stuff or took advantage of you while you're inside the road home. So I stayed outside with my crew, and so they so I felt safer outside.
So Christmas morning, you're on the street on Rio Grande.
And I realized that there are people coming and they're giving out stuff.
There's a lot of people down there.
Do-gooders. They're giving out stuff, and then
is that what you call them, as do-gooders?
I don't necessarily call them do-gooders. I mean, there are people that feel that that's what they need to do in order to either make themselves feel better or to make the world better, and I appreciated them. I appreciated them, tremendously while I was down there, and so I'm not like putting them down or saying that.
Oh no,
that help is definitely needed. But when I sat there and I realized that that nobody was coming for me,
that was it.
I was sad. A sad situation, and somebody offered me a blanket, and so that made me feel. I was so grateful for that blanket. I was so grateful that I had this blanket, and then I remember it started to snow, and I was like, "This is like the worst situation that I could ever be in,"
Wow.
And I needed to make a change. At that time, I didn't know what it was. It might change the income for another. Probably 3 or 4 months after that, but I really knew at that point I needed to change. I needed to do something different, and I started to put some things in place so I can do things differently, or just my whole the way that I was thinking was like, I can't do this anymore. I got to do something different.
Wow. What a dismal thought about spending Christmas like that. You created a pretty good scenario, though. The snow starts to fall, somebody gives you a blanket, and you say, I'm all alone.
Mm-hmm.
The scary part of that is the fact that being in a warm, clean shelter is less safe than being on the street.
Well, I mean, the shelter isn't clean.
Okay,
it's not clean.
I just gave a glorified
I think you making it seem a little bit more, but the shelter, you would think that it would be a safer place to be inside rather than be outside, but it wasn't. Because when you live on the street, it's like, when you realize that you don't have anywhere to go, that's like the worst feeling, dude. You got like no one to call, I mean, that's like, wow, man.
Your dealer.
You can't live with a dealer. You got like no one to call.
Okay.
But I'm saying, I mean, when you're on the street, and most of the time when you can't even call them because you don't have money to do that. You have like no one to call, man. That's like the saddest place that I have been, and that's the saddest thing about being on that block, and that's the saddest thing that a lot of people, that are down there, how they feel, that they don't have any other outlets. Wow. They don't have nowhere to go, and they'd rather be on the street than be in the shelter, because the shelter, they feel that they will be taken advantage of, more than being on the street,
We should give a big shout out to a woman named Amy Altizer, who started Flourish Bakery. And because she has done so much you take a combination. This is really a good combination for success. Somebody goes through the Odyssey program, while at the same time when they get to an upper level in our program, they're out working, and she is teaching them a skill that is extremely marketable, while at the same time selling really great product. And the cool thing about because she keeps in mind what somebody in recovery is going through every morning they have, what do you call it?
Reflections.
Yeah, I mean, and I've spoken at that before. And so as opposed to saying, okay, you're here at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., you got to start work, they take an hour out of the day before the day starts, and they talk about how they're doing in their recovery. They may have a guest person there who's in recovery. It's to sort of set their minds in a positive approach before they start doing all this wonderful baking, which is really, and she started out with nothing. And they use the kitchen right now at Salt Lake Community College, and they're branching out. You're gonna be at farmers markets this summer.
Yes, yeah. Well, what's like you said, our program is that we are trying to build whole life recovery. So we do have reflections each day, and we also what we're doing, we will be at farmers markets. We'll probably be at the downtown farmers market. We're looking at the Sugar House farmers market, and we're looking at the Park City farmers market as well. We will have a food truck that we'll be launching in the middle of June.
What are you going to call it?
Right now, it's funny that our truck is an old Twinkie truck, from the Twinkle House. So we call in-house, we call it the little Twinkie. So that's what we call it. So, but that's an in-house thing. We also have a little Twinkie guy that we have. I don't know if that's going to be the mascot for the truck.
Twinkies are popular. I know. Yeah.
Well, we build it out. They gutted it out, build it out. It's becoming a great truck. It's going to be a wrap, and that's going to be around the city. It's going to be different places. You can go to our website, and you can definitely.
Which is right on the screen right now. For those of you, however, listening on the podcast, Randall will give it to you.
Our website is flourishslc.org.
And if you want to order something, because people can phone in orders, right?
Yes, they can. You can go to our website at that website, and you can see our menu on that website. And if you're interested in being employed, you can also fill out an application on that website as well. We at Flourish, we believe in connections within the community. So right now, we're working with Fit to Recover. We're working on a protein cookie for them. And you asked me earlier how many grams. It has 10 grams
10
of
grams, okay.
10 grams of protein. It has 200 and I believe 230 calories, which is
Okay.
good.
Alright.
Which is good. So yeah, that's something that we're working. So it's a co-branded thing that we're working with Fit to Recover, and it's something that will be launched pretty good. We're also working with places like Adobe, where we're doing some we're selling our goods there with with their company there. So we are branching out. We are doing a lot of stuff. We're really busy right now. This is wedding season right now, so we're doing a lot of cakes.
You ought to
know?
see the cakes, pictures of their cakes. Do you have them online if you go to Flourish?
Yes,
And
yes, they do.
actually, Lee will put a couple pictures up as we're speaking right now. And you guys do amazing work. Where are you located, by the way?
We are right now. We don't have a storefront. We are in the kitchen at the South City campus of the Salt Lake Community College.
Where's that? Which one?
That's 1700 South and State Street. And so yeah, that's where we're located right now. We are looking, like I said, we will have the food truck. And then we will do catered events. We did a catered event just not too long ago with the School of Social Work at the university.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of stuff right now.
But it really sounds like a wonderful, wonderful organization that helps a lot of people.
Yes.
Think about it. We're going to go to a bakery anyway, and I'm not dissing any other bakeries, but if you needed a cake or a fresh loaf of bread or whatever, try Flourish, because by supporting them, you're supporting
Recovery.
people in recovery.
Yes.
And that's what this show is all about. That's why I asked Freddie to be on. Number one, he speaks pretty well. But
Well,
would you agree?
Thank you.
When Randall and I both started out into theater, unfortunately, we were kicked out early and decided to read. But Freddie, you are an inspiration. You're a great guest.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show today and talking about an organization, Flourish Bakery, which it's really amazing now that I learned everything about it.
Yeah.
So again, if you've got an event coming up and really want to support people in recovery, what a great way to do it. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate
Have
it.
fun.
And just, after hearing Freddie's story, there's an expression in addiction. A lot of us in recovery have ridden the elevator. You don't know how far down you have to go, what floor you have to get off. So regardless, if you're feeling bad, if you're having maybe a drink too much, you're thinking
Like
about
you
things
and me.
like us, and
Me too.
both of us in the television business. And
Yeah.
and if you want to get off, there's tons of people to help. You don't have to go to the basement. You can get off anywhere you want. And the first step is to let people know. Being honest is the most important thing. And there are so many people there to help us. And I'm thankful for it. I know, Randall, you are, and Freddie, you are.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care now.